have been doing, but you decide to come this direction. And also, if you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube, we ask you to push like, comment, and share. So if you would do that, and also the bell that's right next to you on the screen, push that button, and as you push that button, it'll let us know that you're watching. And also give us an indication that you're watching by typing your name in the screen below, and we'll comment back to you. So thank you for joining us. And just to let you know that we're excited that you're watching, and not only that, give us feedback on how do you like this telecast, this podcast that we're doing, and our special guest that we have. And this is his second time coming this direction. And it's going to be more times than this. But, like I said, we got to start somewhere. So as we start, we know that new things start developing. But I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Rod Henry. He is the president and CEO over the Temple Chamber of Commerce, and he's been doing it for how many years?
In Temple, I've been here since 2013. I've been
Okay.
in the Chamber of Commerce career mode since 1977.
Wow.
Yeah.
In
Just a
in
few years.
Indiana.
Indiana, Ohio, and Florida, and now Texas.
Wow, you've been around.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
fine.
you're almost about to make a almost complete circle. Just
Well,
need to go to New Mexico and California. So there's different things that need to be doing. But guys, let me introduce you to Mr. Rod Henry and tell us a little bit about you before you get into what we're going to talk about tonight.
Well, Pastor, thank you, first of all, for the invitation. It's actually, I think this is my third time here.
That's
if
right,
if
because of
remember.
Polar Express
Yes,
also. Yeah, okay, third
yeah,
time.
we had some fun on that. But, I've been in the chamber field since 1977. I had back graduating from college, really going back to a real young age, I had this desire to work with people, to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember when I was in fourth grade, my granddad ran for a county office, and he said, "You want to be my campaign manager?" "Oh, sure I do." Well, being the campaign manager meant that we went to all of these fish fries and tenderloin fries and all these things where he would go around and talk to people, and I would stand at the food line and pass out his campaign material. But that was really the start that got me focused on wanting to give back and be a part of helping others.
Mm-hmm.
Graduated from Indiana University, and at that point, I was sort of at a crossroads. Well, actually, a year or two prior to graduation, I was at a crossroads between becoming a funeral director
Yeah, I heard about that.
or actually becoming a minister
Oh, okay.
or going into politics.
Mm-hmm.
So as we chamber people have joked, really the job of a chamber professional is kind of a mixture of all of those things wrapped up together because of everything that you deal that, you are a counselor to people.
Mm-hmm.
You hold the hands of businesses. You hold the hands of small business owners. You actually weep with them, like during the COVID experience. You also are excited and jubilant when there's success happening around your community, because as a chamber CEO, one of your roles is to be a cheerleader for your community.
Mm-hmm.
So, I kind of look at all of these things that I've done, and it all ties back in that with my message, which is very simple, that each and every day I want to touch just one heart and help a person understand that they can lift themselves up just a little bit more, and whatever I can do to just help nudge that along. So at the end of the day, if I don't think I've done that, then I feel like I've wasted a day. But honestly, I don't know that I can. It's been a long time since I really felt that I haven't touched somebody in a meaningful way.
Yes, sir.
But what I want to talk to you about today is just a lot of stuff happening in our community.
Yes, sir.
An exciting time. The Chamber of Commerce has kicked off 2023. Just a lot on our plate already. Our chairman of the board this year is Robert Jones. He's the president of Cadence Bank. And Robert has a really great vision and very supportive of the chamber team. we have coming in with Robert's help for the Chamber's Salute to Business, which is our version of the annual dinner meeting. It's going to be on January 31st up at the Mayborn Convention Center. We have Shannon Brown coming in. So people probably listening to us say, well, who's Shannon Brown? Well, if you get into his resume, you'll understand why we're really excited. Shannon just retired as the Senior Vice President for FedEx Express. Okay, why is that important? FedEx Express is building a huge facility on Temple's north side.
Yes.
And Shannon was involved in that decision on coming to Temple, Texas. So we've asked him, talk to us, tell us, why is Temple on the radar in all of these business expansion and startups that are happening right now? I just got off the phone with him this morning again, and I'm honestly looking forward to being able to embrace this guy. And he's going to deliver just a positive, upbeat message about communities, community engagement, community involvement, community support, and what helps position a community for growth and development. But Shannon will also be speaking at Mary Hardin Baylor that day. We got him lined up to speak to the McLean College of Business. Okay. And maybe another meeting or two throughout the day before we take him up to the Mayborn Center that evening. The Salute to Business starts off at 5:30, and we have what we call a Taste of Temple. That's where we invite maybe 10 members of the chamber who are restaurants or caterers, and we invite them to have a display and samples of one of their products that they want to showcase. And then in turn, somebody comes by and takes a nibble and says, ooh, I like that. Guess what? They're going to go to that business,
yes,
that
sir.
restaurant. So it's a way to help enhance those businesses. And it's also a way to help remind members of the chamber that these different restaurants are here and they provide a great product to you. They can do catering. They can service your business needs. They can service your personal needs. Then around 6:30, we're going to have the invocation by somebody that I know really well. And do you know who that is?
I heard about him, but you know, I'm just waiting to
and he's
hear.
right here with me. But Pastor Beeman's going to be delivering the invocation at this event, followed by the Star Spangled Banner. Jim Reed, who is the director of the Central Texas Council of Governments, will be singing the national anthem a cappella. He does a fantastic job. Then we're going to have dinner. And about 45 minutes later, Mr. Jones will introduce a video about the Temple Chamber of Commerce that is just now getting wrapped up so we can present it. It's a sales tool for the chamber. It's a sales tool about our community. Then at that point, Mr. Jones will introduce our featured speaker, Mr. Brown. And so I'm looking forward to his messaging that evening, and hopefully that one tidbit of information that all of us look for, so we can say, yeah, this was the reason I'm here.
And we can still buy tables, right?
We sure can.
Okay.
Tables are on sale at the chamber.
Okay.
We prefer, obviously, aiming this at Temple Chamber members, but we do have the opportunity to increase the cost for non-chamber members.
Okay.
But you don't want to miss out on this. We're expecting a crowd of over 500 that will come together for this. So Shannon is quite an interesting character. He started with FedEx in 1978. He went through every different level, if you can think of it. Responsibilities just enormous. Continued to gain responsibility as he moved up the ladder. Before he retired, he was named the Chief Diversity Officer for FedEx. So he has a great deal of knowledge in talking about FedEx and their role during the last few years. And his message is very simple. He said, Rod, FedEx is about moving packages. And that is our mission, is to move packages. We don't need to tell anybody else how they need to run their life. We want to build our business. We want to support our employees. We want to help our employees. And again, stick to our mission. So I'm looking forward to him being with us. Again, boy, that's only like 3 weeks away.
Now, how can we get in contact with whomever to get signed up for a table?
Right. You can call the Temple Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
You can also go to the Temple Chamber of Commerce website, which is www.templechamber.com. I had to think there for a minute because I always just hit the button and there it is. Or you can, again, just call us. You can ask for any member of the chamber staff and we can take care of you.
Okay. And I think that the IT person is putting that on the screen as we talking at the bottom. So where our feed is there's something going on right there.
This is our signature initiative, our signature premier initiative of the Temple Chamber. We don't burden the evening down with a lot of awards, although awards are really important. Recognition is really important, but it really gets difficult when you're trying to select one business over another business.
Yes.
In our case, we look upon Salute to Business as all of us working together, and we really ought to take time during the event to pat each other on the back, because to attract business, to attract Meta, to attract FedEx, to attract the employers and the investment coming into Temple, Texas, didn't just come because of a certain individual or a certain incentive. They came because of the way Temple, Texas is positioned. Education, the churches, the parks, the infrastructure, the downtown. And we can just keep going on and on. Just how we treat each other as Temple-lites, if you will, and which is something we'll talk about in a few minutes. It's all about conveying that very positive message, which causes that person that comes into your office or comes into your church as a visitor, when they step out, they go, wow, what an experience. I have never been treated this well before. And I think that's the magic of what a community is all about, is producing the wow experience.
Right.
So that's going to happen.
Okay.
Other things just to talk about briefly. This is a brand new year, so we have in front of us 12 business after hours, one a month, and we have 12 business link lunches, one a month. The next business link lunch is actually coming up on the 19th. It'll be down at Amos Electric, and there is a sign up for it. We can only allow 40 people to attend, but again, you go to the Temple Chamber website. And again, you have to be a member of the chamber in order to tie into that. The business after hours is on the 26th of this month. It'll be down at the Murata Retirement Center down on South 31st Street. And I probably butchered up that pronunciation. Murata?
It sounds great to me.
Okay, good. But again, this is open to others who are considering joining, becoming a part of the Temple Chamber. The networking events in February, the 9th will be the Business Link Lunch. That'll be out at McLean IT, out at the pavilions.
Okay.
And then on the 23rd is the Business After Hours at KCEN TV. Always a big and fun event. And I'll be back before then. We can talk about like March and April.
Okay.
But we have a full schedule. We also do other networking type events from time to time. For instance, like the Summer Sizzle is in the heart of the Santa Fe Plaza, on the greens in the Santa Fe Plaza, which is that beautiful grass area between the Santa Fe Business Center and the TISD headquarters. That'll be on the first Friday in August. And basically, it's a community pep rally. It's a community gathering. The Summer Sizzle is music. It's also food trucks. It's also vendors. It's also for families to come down. The last 2 years we've done that, Pastor. We've had families show up early. They lay out blankets to sit down. They have picnics out there. They throw the frisbee, playing catch. Just lots of fun things. People bring their lawn chairs and get them set up. Last year we had right at 450 people that came out for the Summer Sizzle. And of course, that's a part of an extension of the downtown Temple's First Friday, which is also the first Friday of the month. So you see a lot of movement of people back and forth across Third Street.
So I'm hearing in so many words is let's get connected.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's just maybe try to get connected to where you can find out what's going on, what's
Yes.
happening. The newspaper and Channel 6 do a fantastic job in keeping people and getting the information out there about what's happening. But get yourself hooked up where you can get the city's information on almost a weekly basis of what's coming down. You talk about just the downtown part of Temple alone, the growth that's happening there right now. One parking garage is nearing completion. The other one, there's a huge hole there at Avenue A and guess that would be First Street. And that tower will be going up here start going up here in a matter of weeks. You talk about what's happening over at the Hahn Hotel, or whatever that will be renamed, along with the theater right next to it,
Yes.
and the Sears building, and across the street at the former professional building, and what's happening there. The conversations about additional small businesses looking to locate in downtown Temple. I have 2 coming to visit me in the next 2 weeks, and they are very small businesses. They're doing it because they have caught the fever, the excitement of what's going on in downtown. They want to be a part of it. Both of them will be moving here from another part of Texas. But it's like success breeds success.
Yes.
That's exactly what's happening there. And of course, I believe it's in early April. There's a festival planned in the MLK Festival Marketplace, and later that month will be the Bloomin' Festival happening. So again, things are starting to pick up again, although I'm not sure they've really slowed down in the downtown. So let me take you to, this is the beginning of the 88th session of the
Yes.
Texas Legislature. We have Representative Shine, Representative Buckley, Senator Flores, who are representing the greater Temple community, all there to help move the needle for growth and development, to move the needle to protect business interests, to move the needle to improve upon the educational product. Let me just share with you a few of the issues that we're going to be following and probably next week be taking official action to approve and be able to speak out on it. But as a Temple Chamber of Commerce, we believe in the fundamentals of the free enterprise system. We believe that the best decision gets made locally and not in Austin, not in Washington, D.C. We believe that the state legislature, the Congress of the United States, when they pass a state or a unfunded mandate, that's actually a state mandated property tax increase. So we have said this for years in my career, probably the last 20 years. An unfunded mandate should not be allowed unless the money follows it. Obviously, then it becomes funded.
Right.
But there's too much of that has happened over the years. You talk about the veterans' disability property tax exemption that happened years ago. The state has never funded it to where those cities that provide that benefit can be made whole. Well, there's a big push now, especially with the increased rainy day fund that the state comptroller has indicated will be there. You're talking millions upon millions of dollars to do this, but is it fair for communities like Killeen and Harker Heights and Nolanville to some extent? I guess I understand Nolanville is probably one of the hardest hit communities in Texas, where the state mandated property tax, the veteran who is disabled getting the 100% free property tax. Nolanville is one of the highest impacted communities per capita or per dollar. I'm not sure which way, but needless to say, it's an impact. So if you're taking, let's just say, $5 million out of your coffers to cover that property tax that's not being gained anymore, well, then that means there's $5 million not going for some other community need, whether it's
Right.
the fire department, the police department, the potholes, the water extension, whatever it might be, or changing the lights throughout your town. So there's issues there. We're also, as a chamber, believe strongly in staying on the forefront of the extension of Interstate 14 from where it comes into I-35, coming up to US 90, State Road 36, and going eastbound to Milam County. The quicker we can get that in place, the stronger the economic development opportunities will become for Belton, for Temple, for Bell County. So those are critical infrastructure developments. It's also critical for the military to have that direct route to the cargo areas when military needs come up. I mentioned earlier about the Chamber on Economic Development, but we believe strongly that the toolbox available, that there should be a continuation and enhancement of incentive programs to further position Texas, and in our case, the greater Temple community, as the choice for investment and jobs growth. We've seen a great deal of that activity in our community over the past few years, and the opportunity is that it will continue as long as our state legislature doesn't get funny with what those incentives or changing incentives and making it more difficult. In the area of education and workforce development, the big thing we're going to push, and you're hearing a lot about it right now, you're reading a lot about it, and we've actually been on record for 4 years supporting this, but we believe that funding schools should be based on total enrollment and not on student attendance. The schools have to plan before the school year begins based on the enrollment. So they have to have the buses, whether those kids come to school or not. They have to have the teachers. They have to have the books. They have to have the desk, the whole 9 yards. They have to be ready at 100%, whether those students show up or not. And right now, that funding is based upon daily attendance on certain days throughout the year. So what if, you have a flu epidemic or something at that time, and the number of students is down? Well, bottom line is that that school corporation, TISD, BISD, Academy, Rogers, Troy, Holland, Salado, any of them, they're losing out on desperately needed funding to meet those ongoing needs. We also believe that support tuition-free dual credit courses and increase current revenue for industry-level certification exams for low-income students. We want to help all of our community to get to that next level. If that exam, the cost of that exam is prohibiting that student from getting that certification, then we feel that needs to be rectified. In the healthcare area, we're working with our friends, of course, at Baylor Scott and White, and we continue to support initiatives to increase the state's healthcare workforce, which there's major issues today in getting the doctors and getting the nurses, as well as the other healthcare technicians. We support the inclusion of the community health plans on the Texas Medicaid system. So, we have a long list, but we're going to refine it down to maybe just 4 or 5 items, and we will work closely with Representative Shine, Representative Buckley, and Senator Flores to advance our thoughts and on these issues. Now, something the Chamber started just a week ago, we've had a third House session with just Representative Shine, but with the new, with the redistricting, the way things have been carved up and everything, part of Temple is covered by Representative Buckley. So our third House sessions, which are only going to be open to members of the Chamber, are going to be on the first Monday of each month, but they are going to include all three of our state legislators.
Yes.
So that's an exciting move, and having all three of them there to talk about the issues, and as well as to hear from us on what those different developments potentially could mean, good, bad, or otherwise. So we're excited about that. The other thing that our Legislative Public Policy Council is doing is we're having briefings. Like, for instance, tomorrow morning, we're having a briefing with Superintendent Dr. Bobby Ott to talk about the legislative priorities for the Temple Independent School District. Next week, we're doing one with Dr. Matt Smith from the Belton Independent School District. We'll have public policy legislative briefings or public policy briefings on the state of Fort Hood, or soon to be Fort Cavazos, the state of Temple College, the state of Baylor Scott and White. So our whole thing there is to inform, educate, communicate, and help people to come up, make a rational judgment and decision on what those issues are facing those different entities. So when you hear about an opportunity at the fort, you can tie back into it, say, oh yeah, and that could mean potentially maybe 200 more soldiers. And what does that mean then to the economic strength of Fort Hood when you're looking at the bigger picture?
Well, let's stop just a moment. You talked about Dr. Bobby Ott for Temple Independent School District. Let's give a shout out to him, because he was not only nominated, but he became the state superintendent. Yes. Yeah. Hey,
what an exciting guy. He is, I've never been around a person who uses Twitter and other forms of social media in promoting what's happening within the schools. If there's a day that goes by that I haven't received something from him, then he must be home with the flu.
Yes, at least 2 or 3 times a day.
But isn't that exciting, though? That tells you all of the positive things that are going on in the schools. And again, going back to that wow experience, just what if all of us started promoting those positive things that were happening in our lives each and every day, the hearts that you touch, the people that you lift up. Yeah. It's amazing.
I like it's not a slogan, but it's a theme that City Temple has taken on, and it says, love where you live. And
Absolutely.
if we could get that concept, love where you live. Don't bash it, but love it, and try to be a part, be a benefactor in what's going on. It'll change our mindset around.
Be part of the solution.
Yes.
Be part of the growth and development. So it's exciting times. Now let me share with you, we talked Fort Hood there for a moment. Let me share with you something that the Chamber took on at the request of Mayor Davis here a couple, 3 months ago. But we were meeting, talking about, every month there's roughly 1,200 soldiers that leave Fort Hood, that they basically leave the military. They've retired or they've spent their years. 400 of those are leaving the area. 400 of those don't want to do anything. And the other 400 want to stay in Central Texas and they want to work. Whitney and I have heard from a lot of our major employers basically sharing with us that we can't get a good connection to those 400 every month. And yet there are programs there that are happening, and there just was something, there was a hurdle or a brick wall, something that was keeping that connection from happening, not placing any blame anywhere other than just maybe poor communications, okay? And that, to me, is the root of every issue. So we met, and we brought over the Transition Assistance Program from Fort Hood to talk to all of us together. And then it was a few weeks later, we brought TAP back over to meet with 22 of our major employers. And they shared with those employers, here is how you successfully navigate the Transition Assistance Program. This is how you successfully connect with these soldiers who are leaving the military. And then our promise to the Fort Hood was that we would bring a delegation over to Fort Hood and tour. We want to find out, how is the soldier trained to be a soldier? And then we want to see, how is the soldier trained for his life after being a soldier? So again, the career training programs. So we took 33 over to Fort Hood for the full day. And I had some with us who actually shared with me, Rod, this is going to be a boring day because I just retired from the military. I know everything there is. And halfway through the day, that one individual in particular came over to me and said, I'm glad I'm here. I'm seeing some things I never saw when I was a soldier. Mm-hmm. But we saw a part of the training program, leadership training program, where they have to rely on each other doing obstacles. It was fascinating. And the area around it, there was a kind of a watching area built up where we could look down and watch them basically as a team make decisions on how to cross a pond, which was nothing more than a cement swimming pool, but they had a certain amount of time to get it done. And they only had a few items that they could use to try to figure out how to make it work. So it was really fascinating. And then we went, had lunch, and met with a lot of the different key career training leaders. Then we went and toured 4 different programs that Fort Hood has available. One of them is on CDL. Another one basically is sponsored through Home Depot, but it's basic how to hammer a nail. Now that's being probably too simplified, but building a house, putting electric, plumbing, the whole 9 yards, how to build things. And then another part dealt with automotive repair, and that was a General Motors program. And so it was really fascinating, and knowing how many of the soldiers participate in those, and how many of those soldiers actually are getting jobs in Temple at the auto dealers, at the building construction trades, and we hope eventually CDL to work here in our community. There's quite a few that they shared with us. So that we called that program Connect the Dots. We're connecting one side with another side. Now the last part of that program we hope will actually happen in February, and that's where we're going to do a job fair at Fort Hood for members of the Temple Chamber of Commerce. And so it's kind of to support employment in the greater Temple community, where we will go over and have a designated place. Fort Hood will do all of the invitations to get the soldiers who are transitioning out of the military to be in attendance, to come in and find out. We've been told that they really didn't realize all of the growth going on in the east part of this county. So again, shame on us. Going back to that poor communications, that finger points right at us for not coming up with a better way on how to communicate that message about the jobs that are available in the greater Temple community. So we're working on it.
Wow. Now, you have covered extensively quite a bit of things that you're doing.
Yeah.
Over and beyond. And also, you're the president of the Rotary Club.
Well, I used to be president.
Okay.
My year finished the end of June. But I'll tell you what, that was a real honor to serve as the head of the Rotary Club of Temple. Rotary, it's a service club, and there's 2 Rotary clubs in Temple. There's also Temple South, but there's also the Lions Club. There's also Kiwanis. There's Altrusa. There's so many great service-oriented organizations that are hungry. They're thirsty for finding people who want to be a part of the action. Rotary just happens to be one that I've embraced since basically 1980, 81, somewhere right in there. And Rotary's significant achievement soon to be is the eradication of polio worldwide.
Wow. Yes.
And that's a major accomplishment. Rotary has been involved in basically fundraising, and I'm trying to think of the billionaires who basically helped match a grant from Rotary, but there's tons and tons of dollars that have gone into immunization around the world. So yes, that's critically important. Other things that Rotary, my club does is, we're going to clean up Jackson Park here in March. Mm-hmm. And what's significant about that, there's a fountain at Jackson Park, and it's the Rotary fountain. We didn't even know that until we were over there cleaning it. Well, somebody knew it, but our group, when we were cleaning our last year, we saw that, said, wow, how significant. We didn't even realize it. We also do things like during when Ukraine was invaded. Now, and I was president of Rotary at that time, and I went to the board of directors, said, what if we raised money and we matched it with our foundation, and we sent a check to humanitarian relief through Rotary International, and our board accepted it. And we raised $14,000
Wow.
that went for Ukrainian relief for those who were displaced from their homes and basically fled to other countries to protect themselves. We also do something that's really fun. It's called the Killer Dueling Pianos. This coming July 7th will be the third year that we've done it. Basically, this is a group out of California as well as Texas. One member comes from the Dallas area. But they're the Killer Dueling Pianos, the two pianos, and they put on a show, and they get the audience engaged in it. We do it to raise money for charity. The first year we did it to support the Temple Children's Museum. And last year we did it for two other organizations. And we actually, and I wish I could remember their names because they're dealing with kids and just great organizations. But we are so excited that once everything is the dust settles from the program, we keep 50% of the net so that we can use it for our charitable givings and other things we do in the community, basically help us meet our budget obligations. And then we gave the other 50% of the net, split it in two for these two organizations. Just a great thing. And so we have that coming back July 7th. That'll be a fun event. Rotary also, this last year when I was president, the little libraries that they put outside of schools and places where kids can go to during the summer to get a library book. Well, we had one. We got one through Rotary International, and we put it up over at the Housing Authority in the downtown area. And Benita and I, my wife and I, we've taken that same design, and the CTE class out at Lake Belton High School is recreating that box, and we're going to put it in the colors of Tarver Elementary, which is on the west side of Temple. It's a part of the Belton Independent School District. And we're going to have that erected at Tarver for the kids to be able to come by during the summer and pick up a book, or on weekends to pick up a book and read, and hopefully then bring it back. That's what a little library is all about. Well, and Benita and I are actually sponsoring the little library for Tarver. But during the board meeting this last week of the Rotary Club of Temple, we talked about extending that same idea to all of the elementary schools for Belton ISD that are in Temple. So we're still working on that. We're going to wait until our box for Tarver gets done so we know exactly what it ends up costing, Benita and I. And then we want to duplicate that. Again, it's being of service to the kids, giving the kids an opportunity, a place where they can go to pick up a book. And Altrusa has been a major supporter of this. They help provide books for the little library down at the Housing Authority. and they've already committed. They'll be involved with Benita and I on the little library at Tarver. And here later this week, I'm going to talk to them about the expanded idea, just to see again if they would like to continue being involved.
Wow. Now, you forgot something, and I know you thought about it, but also Rotary Club go to CTLC on
That's right.
Saturdays.
Yes. And I
Yes.
thank you for that. And you're actually the one who helped open that door up. We wanted a project, a monthly project to do where we as volunteers get up early on Saturday morning and wear our grubbies and we go help serve at the Churches Touching Lives for Christ. What a treat. What an enjoyment that basically you help put food in a cart, you help put food in a basket, you take the carts out and you put them in cars. And I think we average right at 160 every Saturday.
Yes.
But, it's giving back. It's helping others. Which is really what Rotary's all about. It's service above self. It's helping the person that maybe just doesn't have that capability right now. Who's to say that 3 months from now we might be in that same position?
Yes.
And we want to make sure that our fellow neighbors and friends are taken care of.
Yes. Now you have covered a lot. Now I just have one question.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to answer. This
Okay.
is just off random. When do you sleep?
Well, I sleep well, first of all, but we're coming on like 7:15. I'll be in bed by 8:30. But I wake up about 4, and if I don't wake up, my Great Dane, who sleeps in our bed with us, gets me up because she's got to go potty.
Yes.
But Benita calls me the Energizer Bunny. I just love life, and God only gave me so much time, and I want to serve to the maximum that I can. Now, I also know there's limitations. And there are some times, like this morning, that I turned that alarm off and I didn't get up till 5 o'clock. But
Wow.
But that extra hour though did good. And I take my vitamins. I do everything I can. I'm still a little too plump for where I want to be, but the drive is there. The drive to help others is there. And which is really on the back of my business card, I put it there clearly, is that to serve others is one day at a time.
Yes. You have covered almost everything on the globe
Well,
that I can recall.
And we could talk longer. We could delve more into the different services of Rotary Club, but again, just talking about service clubs, each of them have their key goals and objectives and their key programs.
Yes.
That they're all fantastic. If you have an opportunity, if you see that you would like to be involved in a service club, reach out to them, ask them, say, hey, I want to be of service. And there are several around. We could always use even new ones to help make things happen. But service clubs take care of themselves.
Yes.
They raise their own money. If they have a meal tied into it, everybody pays their own way. So, but service clubs are just one way to give back. And it's something that, honestly, that probably hasn't been, I've been a member of Rotary, as I said, since the early 80s. But I'm not sure that, I know I didn't really drink the Kool-Aid until I came to Temple, Texas. So maybe about 6 years ago that it just all hit. And I said, wow, what a great opportunity to give back, to be a part, to help others. Last year, another thing, I think you and I have already talked about this before, but we were very heavily involved in helping to communicate the ills of human trafficking.
Yes.
We helped the district in bringing a traveling classroom to Temple, actually to the Bell County Expo, but yet the messaging about human trafficking. How do you recognize trafficking happening? But all of us can play a part in the resolution of those kind of issues. That if you see a strange situation in a grocery store with a child that looks uneasy, the chance, there could be a good reason for that maybe that's a human trafficking situation happening.
Yes.
But all of us have a part to play to make our communities better and our people to feel safer and for our people to be healthy.
Yeah, I like what you said, and you said that you're only here for a certain period of time.
That's right.
And that means that, the scripture says life is like a vapor. You're here and then you're gone.
Yeah.
But you're making use of your time here, which is exciting to me and get me doing a little bit more. I'm thinking, I'm doing too much, Lord. And, the Bible says that he will not give you more than what you can bear.
Yeah.
So there's still some more that can come out. And I just get excited just talking to you. You're like a man on steroids, just constantly moving. And, but that encourages me, to do more and not just sit back and say, well, somebody has to do it. But why not me, myself, be the person to step out and do it?
Well, and I have a standing invitation to you about something.
Something you've been talking about a year ago.
Oh yeah, off and on since then. But
keep standing. No,
yeah,
I'm just messing with you.
We'll get that accomplished in time. There's a right time for everything.
Yes, sir.
And I'll also tell you that I do have my moments when my door at the office is closed because the gas tank is empty, and you just feel just completely spent. Or at times weekends, even though again Benita calls me that Energizer Bunny, I just can't stay. I can't sit at home. I want to be up doing something. I want to go out to the businesses in our community or go to a movie or something. But again, it's just part of life, and I will just say that I do have my moments when R&R is the best thing to be prescribed.
Yes. Yes, it's like great medicine.
Amen. Amen. But I sure do thank you again for the opportunity to come and be a part of this with you.
No, I thank you because you are a pillar. And it seems like you're a pillar everywhere you go. I mean, and that means you holding up, not only holding up, but you're giving out. And I text you one time before and I said thank you for what you're doing. Yeah. Because you do more than, and so that encourages me, and you're making a difference. You're not just doing something just to be a showcase, but you're sincere of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so that get me excited, saying, man, this guy's everywhere. He's doing everything, and not only that, he's not like want to be in the public eye, but you actually are. But you're not. You kind of like you're kind of behind the curtains, but you're actually the one pulling the strings, letting the curtains open and close.
Well, again, you're kind. I'd like to put the volunteers and everybody else out in the front. Now, there's times when I do need to be up front, and having been in this business for 40-some years, I know when those times are.
Yes.
But I would much rather just be in the background and help make those things happen. And I know my board knows. That's all that matters.
Yes.
That I'm doing, that we, and I say we, that the entire chamber team, Whitney and Regina and Bobby Joe and Carrie, it's a fantastic team that's assembled down there right now. We're excited.
Yes.
And as the weather starts to improve over the next several weeks and couple months, it's going to get more exciting because that the Santa Fe Plaza, the fountains. I mean, there was a crowd down there tonight when I left to drive over here. It's just amazing the excitement that's happening in our community today, and the opportunity that's going to be presented even more so.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
It's awesome. It's
Yes.
awesome. So I really do thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
I know there's other things you could have been doing at this present time, and I thank you for your lovely wife for allowing you to come this direction and just share. Not only that, but to give the community, the people that are watching, what's going on. Because sometimes people have no idea. They think it's just a temple is just temple, but it's more than that. It's a standout,
It is.
and I just get excited about this. So I really
Temple's
do
the
thank you.
place to be.
Yes, yes. Even though I was raised in Belton, but still, Temple's still a place to be. Even though, so just put it that
The
way.
greater Temple community is the place
Yes,
to be.
yes, the
There we
Central
go.
Texas, Central Texas. We
Okay.
got to get that in. I have my sisters here, and she's in Temple Blue, even though she's
see
she's
that.
from
Yeah.
Red, from
Yeah.
Belton, but that's okay.
I've
And
been-
you have a red a blue,
A blue jacket.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So you
But
have to wear that next time.
I will do that. But I notice she keeps putting that sign for applause, and nobody's clapping.
We have to applaud afterwards.
Good, good. Thank you, sir, very
Yes,
much.
sir. Well, thank you for joining us. This is Mr. Rod Henry, and he's actually from Indiana. Everybody here think about Indiana, they think about Larry Bird, they think about the Jacksons, 5.
There we go,
But
yeah.
but Larry Bird, when he played in college basketball, that's my first time seeing who he was, but everything. But thank you for coming to
Thank you,
Texas and
sir.
making a difference, not just coming just to be coming, but to make a difference.
Well, I
in this
want to
area.
thank you for providing this opportunity. I also want to thank you sincerely for serving on the board of directors of the Temple Chamber of Commerce. It means an awful lot. Thank you.
Well, thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. I really appreciate that. It's awesome. So thank you. Thank you for joining us again at New Day Fellowship Church, growing church, new vision for a multicultural generation. We're going to keep saying it until it happens. But we thank you for hanging out with us with Mr. Rod Henry. And if you want to know what's going on with City of Temple or the surrounding areas, you find this man, take him out to lunch, and you pay for it, and he can tell you everything that you need to know. So appreciate you. Love you. And you all take care. God bless you.
There's no